we're constructive criticism. And if you've ever given constructive criticism before and it hasn't been received very well, the question we have to ask ourselves is, why was it not received well? And how can we do it more effectively in the future? It really comes down to, do they know you? Do they like you? And do they trust you? The no, don't. We have to build that trust over time in order for it to work out for us, right? In order for people to be willing to accept what we have to say, there are a few things that they need to know about us. But number one is, do they know us, like us, and trust us? So step one, when you get to know your team members, what specifically do you know about them? Do you know only about their work goals and ambitions, or have you taken the time to figure out what are their personal goals? What is their marriage like? What is their family like? Do you know their children's names? For that matter, do you even know your team member's full name, right? Again, if we haven't taken the time to get to know them, how are they ever going to get to know us and learn to love us or trust us? They don't have to love us, but they're going to have to learn to like us and trust us, right? If we haven't taken the time to get to. So step number one is, we have got to find out about them. Take a genuine interest in the people that work with us, right? We want to take a genuine interest in them. How do we do that? Well, we find out. We ask questions. What are their goals? What are their aspirations? What are they excited about? What do they dream about? And then we also want to talk about their role, their current role, and the goals that they're pursuing right now within the organization. What are their role? What is their current role? And what are their current goals for that current role? And then we also want to talk about, what is their clear vision of the future? What does their future look like with the company that you're with? Now, they may never even have thought about it, or you may never even have thought about it, but everybody is looking to have more, be more, do more. So the question is, how can we help facilitate that? And if we don't ask the questions, we'll never understand how to help them more effectively, right? So we want to make sure we're asking the right questions so that we can help them in any way that we can. It helps to create that trust factor. Now, how often should we meet? How often should I meet with my team members? One-on-one. So this becomes really important, be trust, right? So if we're constantly beating people up and we haven't built trust with them yet, that's why they're not accepting the direction that you're giving them. That's why they're not accepting. They take it as if, oh my gosh, my manager is nothing more than a micromanager. Why? Because they don't trust you. They don't believe that you care more for them or as much for them as you do about the business. So if we want to change the way they perceive us, then we genuinely have got to take an interest in their development. Because if we take an interest in their development, they will also take an interest in their own development, right? So number two is, when we communicate, we've got to communicate in a conversational style. So if we're coming in and we're just, I had a manager once, she'd walk and go, "You're not done yet?" Now, I don't know about you, but that is probably the most offensive thing anybody could ever say to me. Why? Because I know I'm faster than anybody else at the time, right? I know that I was putting out more effort, more energy than anybody else on the team at the time. So for her to say that to me, it was just ticked me off, right? You contrast that with another manager that would come up and go, "Dang, you know what? That looks better than anything I've ever seen in this building before." Big difference, right? Tune her out every single time. The other one, man, I'd bend over backwards and do absolutely anything that man would ask me to do, right? Tone makes a difference. Tone makes a difference. The intention makes a difference. So if we know we're going to have a conversation with someone, if we ask the question before we go into the interaction, what do I want them to think, feel, or do differently? Taking that from Darren LaCroix, when anytime he would create a speech, he would always ask himself that question. Well, it's the same thing with a conversation. What do you want the individual to think, feel, or do differently as a result of the conversation we are about to have? What feelings do I want to generate within them during the conversation? Wow. Now we approach it with a very different intention, right? We're not just letting it happen. We're going in with a clear plan, We have thought through, I say this, they'll respond with this possibly, or they may respond with this. And if they respond with those, I'll talk about this, or I'll go this direction. So that we understand the tone we're going in with, we understand the topic of conversation, and we understand what the end result is going to be coming out the backside, right? Now, if they know us like built trust, but if we have not built the trust, they will not accept it. They just won't. They're just going to think you're a jerk, right? So we have to build trust on the front side. By the way, for those of you who don't know me, my name is David Adams with David Adams Speaks and People Steward Leadership. And again, the whole concept is that we inspire leaders to embrace people stewardship so that they then can teach their teams personal responsibility, so that their teams will take personal responsibility for their own growth and development. It's so important that we inspire our team members to take responsibility for their own growth. That way they're studying at home, they're learning at home, learning them how to do these things. Sometimes they just don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know. But when you can expand your vision and then expand the vision of the people on your teams, that's when amazing things happen, right? That's when miracles happen. All right, so step number 3, group meetings. Group meetings are a great opportunity to praise, to give acknowledgement, recognition, honor, respect in a group setting that's congruent with your other communications, right? So don't discount the opportunity to build that rapport, to build that respect in your group and team meetings. Now, along with that, giving somebody an opportunity to prepare and share something in that meeting, right? If you give them something to share in that meeting, you now just showed and gave them trust, right? You just gave them trust, and now they have a desire to show up and make you proud. And then you have an opportunity to immediately celebrate them with a high five or whatever you're going to celebrate them with to continue to build that trust, the know, like, and trust factor. All right. So again, the top 3 things, or my top 3 things, your one-to-one meetings. Make sure that we are building trust. Building trust, because if I'm teaching, number 2, understanding and knowing their roles, their goals, and helping them to achieve their goals, not just work goals, but we're helping them achieve their personal goals. And when we help people achieve their personal goals, that only helps us in the business as well. So please don't misconstrue what I'm saying. Yes, it's business, but we also have to help them in their personal lives. That's our role. That's what a leader does, right? It's not all about the business. It's about personal and business. We bring them together. Remember, our tone, it matters. Our voice, it matters. Our intention, it matters. So again, step number 2, conversational communication. The next piece, number 3, was group meetings, just being congruent with who you are and praising them, acknowledging them, recognizing them, honoring them, respecting them, and giving them an opportunity to have a voice. All right. I appreciate you guys watching today. I hope you have an exceptional day. And just remember,